So what we're talking about here is the pre-sale. And what I mean by that is just before they become a client, to retain a client, you want to set proper expectations. And setting these proper expectations is not actually that difficult. It is just you having a little bit of patience, not being fearful that you're going to lose the sale, and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That if you rub somebody the wrong way, if they question your methods, they're probably revealing to you that they would be a red flag client. So this is what I recommend. Adapt as you need, but this is one of the first things I can say to keep clients forever. And the Super Bowl, as we know, is won in the preseason. So the pre-sale, as we look at it, basically the prospect who asks the least amount of questions is the most likely to leave the earliest. And what I mean by that is, unless they've binged your content, or unless they know your brand really, really well, or unless they're a word of mouth referral and come highly regarded, if they just landed in your funnel and they're looking at you from a service base, didn't really look at you for very long, booked a call and they like what you had to say and say, let's do it, they're probably going to leave early because they are treating this strictly as a transaction. Now, if you're an agency who's trying to retain clients for a really, really long time, you don't want a single transaction, you want several. You want them to say yes to you every single month. And a client who's going to be saying yes every single month is not a client who's just going to say, let's do it after one phone call, even though they barely know who you are. So coax those questions out of them. And basically just don't let fear win. If everything feels really, really good and there's no resistance, I actually take that as a really bad sign. Again, unless they come highly regarded or they've seen your stuff before. If they are brand new and there is no resistance there, you're probably not giving them enough information to let them know how accountable they need to be and what level of pain, whether it's monetary, time, or both, that they'll need to invest to make sure that this is a good working relationship for a long time. And how you're going to do this is basically just ask them difficult questions. Now, I don't mean difficult as in you're being abrasive. I just mean asking longer term questions. Ask questions that feature 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. What are your goals for the next 3 to 5 years? How do you see our agency helping you hit those goals? Don't just say, this is our service and this is what we'll do in the next week to 30 days. Extend that time horizon. Ask them questions. Do they know where their business is going in the next 10 years? If they don't know, you need to extract that out of them, or at least make them think differently so that you can see whether this will be a long-term client or not. And finally, people want what they can't have in terms of how you present this. So as you'll see from the actual resource, one of my favorite things to say to a prospect before they would sign with us is, have you spoken to other agencies? If not, I want you to speak to 3 other agencies before you come back to me. Now, they very often don't do that, but it's a massive confidence statement in saying, I want you to look elsewhere. I don't need your business. I'm not going to say yes to you until I know that we're the right fit, not that you feel we're the right fit. Now, typically the way it works is they'll come back to you within a couple days and said, hey, I tried to speak with all these other agencies, but I really, really want to get going. That's okay. Then you can accept them now. It's not like a hard and fast, they have to review 3 other agencies, but just by saying that statement, you're in the driver's seat saying, I don't need your business. And that sets a huge precedent for where you can go moving forward. Now, these would just be a last resort in case you do let fear win a little bit, or you feel like you need the funds, or you're on a time crunch. You can, I recommend have some sort of money back guarantee as part of your agency. You can forego that and say, all right, well, if you're not going to look at other agencies and do your due diligence, then you'll have to waive the money back guarantee to work with us. Another way to do it is putting them on a probationary period, just saying, hey, okay, this isn't how we normally do things. I do think we can help you, but because of how unorthodox this relationship is beginning, we're going to put you on a 60-day probationary period to make sure that you're a good fit for us. Again, confidence statements. And then I haven't used this personally, but I do know of some agencies who have high demand that you can have them pass a good fit test. Okay, if you're not going to look at other agencies, I would like you to pass kind of a culture test. Think of it as like a Myers-Briggs or a DISC assessment or something like that, just tailored to your agency so that you know that they would actually be worth working with. Finally, just know that your need and their need is the exact same. You need to work together, not one person gets more of a benefit than somebody else. Contracts should be mutually beneficial, and the way to ensure that happens is by asking the right questions before the person becomes a client. So I highly recommend you just go into those conversations knowing that you don't need their business, they don't need to sign you, and that's a very advantageous spot for both of you, because then you break down the barriers of relationship and just start talking about value and good fit. So I hope this video helps, and we'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions, of course, do scroll down to the bottom of this resource, and I would love to help.